Hello and welcome to the Enterprise World magazine. Today's guest is a trusted insurance professional and client-first leader who has built his reputation by protecting seniors, simplifying Medicare decisions, and ensuring long-term financial security for the people he serves. With a deep understanding of Medicare regulations, ethical advisory practices, and personalized coverage planning, he has become a dependable voice in an often confusing insurance landscape. As the insurance agency owner of the modern Medicare agency, Paul Barrett has dedicated his work to transparency, dedication, education, and safeguarding clients from costly mistakes and earning the trust of individuals and families worldwide. Please join me in welcoming the most trusted Medicare leadership expert in client protection 2026, Mr. Paul Barrett. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the show. So, Paul, let's get started with your journey in the first segment. So, what really inspired you to enter the insurance and Medicare advisory space? And also, how did the modern Medicare agency come into existence?
Okay, so as far as how I got into insurance, it just happened to be something that I liked because there was a strong need, a lot of lack of understanding in general of the insurance programs here in our country. And in about 2008, President Obama came out with a new initiative to change our health insurance, and he proposed the Affordable Health Care Act. That really flipped the insurance industry upside down on its head. So right before that happened, I got introduced to Medicare, and I saw there was a huge opportunity there for somebody that really wasn't a salesperson, but more of a teacher, an advisor, an explainer type person. And that's because the program is so different than any other insurance that you've ever had here in the United States. People just didn't understand it at all. I mean, you had one thing for 64 years, then on your 65th birthday, everything changed. So when I saw that, coupled with the fact that they had higher requirements, meaning you had to take more tests and certifications to become an agent that could help people with Medicare, and I noticed a lot of people failed the exam. So that made me excited because I passed it on my first try, and I knew that this meant if it's harder to do, there's going to be less competition, and it really called for somebody, like I said, that would be an advisor and a teacher, not a salesperson. So after doing that for some big organizations for a couple of years, we moved on and decided to do it on my own. Why? Because the big organizations decide who they want you to sell to, what plans, what they want you to do. They give you quotas and all these different things that really don't suit the customer, right? I don't want to have just 4 options when there's 25 and just take somebody's mom and put them in the wrong plan. And that's really how it all developed, by caring about everybody and understanding that I could do it on my own. And I knew that there was other agents that felt kind of bad about selling somebody a plan opposed to just helping them pick the right one. So that's how the agency evolved. I got a bunch of agents that felt bad, just like myself, that were educational first, wanted to help people, not sell people. I mean, essentially, in our country, you're either going to need Medicare or not. But if you need it, then you need help. That's where it all evolved from.
That's wonderful. So Medicare can be overwhelming for many people, just as you explained it right now. So what early experiences really showed you the gaps in client understanding and protection that really motivated you to build your agency differently?
2 things. Number one, I noticed that most agents didn't really understand it. That was the biggest problem, So when you get licensed to get a health insurance license, there's maybe 5 questions about Medicare on the exam, and there's 120 questions. So you really have to become an expert after you get your license with it. So I saw that big gap. And then with consumers, they just didn't understand it at all. You go over a summary of benefits, explain everything to somebody. The first thing you say on everything is, hey, by the way, Mrs. Jones, this plan's going to cost you $0 per month. It's funded by our payroll taxes, and it's fully subsidized through the government. So at the end of the month, you're going to have to write a check for 0. And I would say that multiple times. It sounds a little obnoxious. And at the end, after going through all the wonderful benefits, the first question I got from everybody was, okay, that sounds great. How much does it cost? I said it twice in the beginning. People just don't understand how things could be subsidized and how anything could be 0. So that was one of the first things that really showed me that people just don't understand it, and they really need good advice, not someone that's going to sell them something, but somebody that's going to help them understand and choose the right plan for themselves.
That's excellent. So really, what are some of the core values that really guide you to advise the clients and structure your services? And also, what really sets the agency apart when it comes to client protection and ethical guidance?
Yeah, I mean, that's two questions with the same answer. It's very, very simple. It's always client first. When you're over 65, let's face it, as we get older, we're most likely going to need to use our insurance more. Hopefully not, but in most cases we do. So it's very important to make sure you have the right core values, meaning morals, and understanding that everyone's got to be treated like your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your father, whoever. It's got to be like family, because they're going to need it. And if they don't have the right coverage, just so you can make a couple of dollars, we don't get paid a lot, right? We get paid for keeping people long term. That's what makes this a really good business. But if I give somebody a plan that doesn't suit them and they get off it in a few months, it's worthless to me, and it's a disservice to the client. So that's really the way we base everything. Everything is client first. Make sure they understand, walk them through the process, and then lead them to the right policy based on their needs and budget.
Yes, definitely. Most definitely. Client-focused approach is key to growth. So you emphasize on education over sales, right? So how does this philosophy shape your client relationships and long-term outcomes that you really aim to create?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I started out working for big companies, and they weren't education first. It was all sales, 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 sales. They would run these little ads on the internet, and they would get people to basically fill out a form. And I probably would make 100 to 150 phone calls a day to try and speak to people. And when I did, most of them didn't realize why they were on the phone with me. And if I did get somebody that did realize and I helped them, it wasn't a very warm and fuzzy relationship, because it was a quick phone call, and I got to enroll them. If I don't, I'm not going to get my salary. I won't get bonuses. I could get fired. It was more about the company than it was about the consumer. When you do education first, seminars, webinars, things of that nature, you make friends. I mean, the people that I meet there, they're so appreciative of free information, especially webinar folks, right? In this day and age, nobody wants to come out of the house anymore. COVID happened, all these different things that made people just feel more comfortable at home. But what's better than getting all the answers to your questions at home? And if you don't want to do anything, guess what? You just hit the end button and you don't have to talk to anybody. If you want to talk to somebody, you have the option to. We like to make it as really easy as possible, passively, for these folks to get their information and decide for themselves. Do you like Paul? If you like Paul, you can reach out to us. We'll help you. If you don't, you got the answers to all your questions, and you can go on about your thing. But most people that attend the seminars and webinars really do appreciate it. I get a lot of people that thank me and say, the government should be doing classes like this. Thank you so much for doing it, because I'll speak to 100 people on a webinar, and 10 people will need my help right away. I might not speak to the other 90 for a long, long time. So it's not like it's a super profitable thing, but as you keep doing them month after month after month, you build up more trust, more relationships, and the more answers you give, the more people you help, the better it is for me, the better it is for them.
That's rightly explained. So regulations and policies in Medicare are constantly changing. So how do you stay ahead of these changes while ensuring that your client remains protected and informed?
Yeah, so I mean, there's always huge conferences that I attend every year for Medicare, where all the really large insurance companies, CEOs and FMOs, which are field marketing organizations that basically steer everybody and run the whole Medicare insurance landscape. They're attached and tied into the government and what's going on. So they announce the news very early for each year, keeping us really up to date. And the main reason why I attend all these things is exactly for what you just said. Especially lately, the changes have been drastic, and consumers are getting so much mail. Even when they get information about changes, they don't open it because they're constantly targeted by marketing. So that's why we host webinars with our own clients. We have newsletters to share all the new information, and we start doing that before the open enrollment. Usually July, August, and September, we call client education months, getting them prepared for the next year.
That's superb. So looking back, what has been the most rewarding moment in your career as a Medicare advisor and agency owner?
You know what? That's a tough one. I've come across so many good people and I've helped a lot of people along the way. But recently I had a person that called me in the middle of my busiest season, and this gentleman had a problem with billing. And I told him what was going on with the busy season. I really wanted to help you. Contact me on this day. December 8th is the day after our busy season. He did. And it turned out he was getting overbilled for something, and we were able to get him a substantial refund by writing some letters and doing some appeals. And he's not even a customer of mine, but he was so excited and so thankful. Those are the things that we really like. Most people will tell you negative stuff, but not enough people will say, hey, thank you, I really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. So this guy's called me several times. He wants to take me to dinner, really, really nice things. So when someone really is not my client, but says all those nice things, that's what makes me want to do this longer and keep doing it.
That's very fulfilling. So this brings us to the end of the segment 1. So let's move on to the segment 2, which will be a rapid fire round. So only quick and short and spontaneous answers only. So one word that defines your leadership style.
I would say example, because I've been doing this for a long time, right? So I still do everything that all the brand new agents do. Try and lead by example.
That's a great one. The most important quality in a Medicare advisor.
Compassion. You really got to care. If you don't care, your business isn't going to grow. Like I said, you don't want it to be transactional. You want it to be relationships.
That's well said. One mistake seniors commonly make when choosing Medicare coverage.
Biggest mistake is definitely listening to their friends. A lot of people will talk to somebody and they'll say, my plan is fantastic, you should get it, it's the best plan. And then you find out, well, that person doesn't have the same doctors, the same medications, the same chronic health needs, lifestyle, or a budget. So listening to your friends is probably the worst thing you can do.
That's insightful. A daily habit that keeps you grounded and client focused.
Daily habit that I do is I like to call at least 3 customers every single day just to check in on them randomly, because I know as I grow and I get bigger, I don't speak to people as much as I used to. It's more emails, text messages, things like that. So I like to touch people personally every day and just keep copious notes so I can remind, how was so-and-so's granddaughter's dance recital or whatever. People really appreciate that. And I do care. I want everyone to know that I'm always here. I'm never going to be too big that I can't answer your questions. You should always call, text, or email me if you have any issues.
That's nice. I think personal connection is very important. What really matters more to you? Is it the compliance or passion?
They kind of come together. Compassion, if you're compassionate, you're going to be compliant. Our compliance comes down to very simple things. You just tell people the truth, be transparent as possible. We're brokers, so we don't have to sell anything. We offer as many policies as possible. It's very rare that we don't have one that you need. So we don't have to sell anything. Like I said, if you're compassionate, you're always going to make sure the person gets in the right policy.
That's honest. What is a book, mentor, lesson that has really shaped the way you lead?
They Ask You Answer, Marcus Sheridan. It's probably one of my favorite books. Very simple premise around the book, right? Clients ask, you answer. Just be fully transparent. If we're not a good fit for each other, let them know. If we are a good fit for each other, let them know. But whatever they answer, you should answer. Everything should always be upfront and transparent, especially in this business.
That's informative. So your personal definition of client protection in one sentence, how would you define it?
That's a good one. Basically, just doing the right thing. That's all it comes down to. Looking forward, always putting the client's needs first. Never ever worrying about when you're going to get paid or commission, because that stuff all comes. So just making sure you're always doing everything client-centric.
That's fantastic. This brings us to the end of the segment 2. So let's head on to the segment 3, which is leadership in a minute. So, Paul, in 1 minute, what piece of advice or message would you like to share with insurance professionals and advisors who really want to build a trust based practice but feel pressurized to focus only on sales?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to be prepared for the long run. We always need, as a business owner, we need money today, obviously, right? But you have to have a balance. And if you're not doing the right thing, you can get money today. It's going to be what I would call short money if you're selling somebody a policy, because whenever a client gets the wrong policy, they're going to speak to somebody else, right? So we want to make sure we're always putting the client first, number one. And if you do that, I don't care whether you're calling leads, whether you're doing seminars, whether you're doing webinars, it shines through. People know when you genuinely care, and just being genuine with folks it's all about relationships. That will always shine through, and it'll definitely help your business grow.
That's rightly said. It's always people over profits. So this brings us to the end of segment 3. So this is our last and final segment. So as we look towards 2026 and beyond, what major changes do you see in Medicare, client expectations, and insurance leadership from a industry leader standpoint?
Yeah, so there's always going to be changes, right? The current stage of Medicare right now, I should say state of Medicare, is very high utilization since COVID. So we're going through some growing pains. Original Medicare is getting high utilization. That's driving up the cost of Original Medicare Part B. It's driving up the cost of Medicare supplements nationwide, a lot higher than we're used to in the last 20 years or so. So we're going to see that start to settle a little bit as we start getting through all the COVID people that were afraid to go to the doctors and hospital for a couple of years and are finally getting out. And we're expecting that to be in the next 3 to 5 years. It should start to settle and really just become stable again. And as far as Medicare Advantage plans go, they're a necessary thing that we have in our business, and they're going to go up, they're going to go down based on usage, just like anything else, but also the government. It's what the government wants, how much money they're going to give towards these programs, how much they're going to take away. And as right now, it looks like they're really tightening the hold on Medicare Advantage plans. So we're going to see a lot less PPO plans, more HMOs, which means a little more restrictive network, probably slightly better benefits, some less of the, what I call the sizzle. When you see somebody walking through the restaurant with the sizzling platform of steak and whatever, everyone gets excited about it. The sizzle is the dental, the vision, the hearing, the money back, over-the-counter benefits that are being offered on commercials. You're going to see a lot less of that. It's health insurance at the end of the day. You're not supposed to be getting money to go buy stuff at the store and all those extra benefits. So I think you're going to see less of that and more of core health insurance values.
That's very insightful. So this brings me to the last and final question. How will the modern Medicare agency continue to evolve to protect clients, simplify decision making, and raise ethical standards in the Medicare industry?
Yeah, so we're going to continue doing what we're doing, just at a higher level, right? So with all the new platforms coming out, better CRMs, client relationship management tools, we're able to touch people in seconds, opposed to the old days when you always had to call people, you always had to mail something. So we're able to send ringless messages to people, meaning your phone doesn't even ring and you get a message from me reminding you about something. Text messages, emails, all that fun stuff, newsletters. When we used to have to mail things, everything was slower, people's address changed, things are bouncing back. So because it's more efficient and cheaper for us on our end, we're going to be able to stay in touch with people so much better. We also have tools that we didn't have 10 years ago that are able to give us fantastic quotes, illustrations that not only show people side by side, but actually give you insights to why one plan would be better than the other. And that's really the main thing. We're going to stay the course with AI, push forward with client-centric, everybody first, education, and all those tools should help us stay in the forefront.
Most definitely. That's incredible, Paul. So, Paul, this brings us to the end of the interview. But before we say our goodbye, I just want to give you a small vote of thanks. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey, insights, and commitment to protecting clients in one of the most important stages of their lives. Your work demonstrates how integrity, education, and genuine advocacy can transfer the Medicare experience for individuals and family alike. For all of our viewers, we'll be back soon with more inspiring conversations featuring leaders who are building trust, protecting people, and setting new standards right here on the Enterprise World magazine. Thank you so much, Paul, for your time and effort for this interview, and I wish you all the best with your agency ahead.
Thank you too. Have a great day.
Bye. Yes. Bye.